Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see how we are going to overload operators in C Sharp. So before going into the video, let's see the basic difference between your operator overloading, your constructor overloading, method overloading and method overriding. Okay, so constructor overloading in the sense there is going to be a constructor. Say for example, if I have a class called height, right? So if I have a constructor defined as height with no parameters, so it is naturally called as a default constructor. If it has multiple parameters, the same constructor has multiple parameters, we could say that now the constructor is being overloaded. Let me repeat. So the default constructor is there, and a constructor with multiple parameters are there. One or two constructors are there. So we can say that now the constructor is being overloaded. Now moving ahead, we are going to see about what is your method overloading. So your method name is going to remain same, whereas your parameters and your return type, if it changes, we can say it as method overloading. And there is yet another concept called method overriding, wherein different classes have the same method name, same set of parameters, and if you want to perform your overloading operations there, it is called as method overriding. So in this experiment, however, we are going to see about this particular operator overloading. So what is operator overloading? If you make a particular operator to perform other operations than which it is intended for, we call it as operator overloading. Say for example, there is a operator called say the addition operator, which is represented by say plus. But if I want to make this plus to do some other operations than what it is assigned for, we say this particular scenario as operator overloading. So let's quickly jump into this video and see some important aspects of your operator overloading. Say operator overloading permits user defined operator implementations, and it mandates that the operands are of the same user defined classes. Say for example, if I have a matrix, say a matrix class, say matrix m1 and say m2 and m3. So I have say three objects created for a class called matrix, and if I'm going to perform some operations like this, say for example m3 is equal to m1 plus m2. Now I can say that the mathematical addition symbol, right, the plus symbol is overloaded. And if you could find both the operands over here are of the same type, and the storage type is also of the same type. This is basically true for all the mathematical operations, and there are few exceptions. Say for example, your boolean return types for certain operators. Say for example, if conditions, right? Say if I have say less than symbol or greater than symbol, or if I have equals to be checked, all these things are going to return me a boolean value. Either it's going to be true or it's going to be false. So these are the scenarios, I should say, the return types that are possible. So with that said, there are few other data about your operator loading. They say that if you are going to perform, say, overload this particular equals operator, you are supposed to mandate its equivalent operator to also to be defined. If you don't do this, an error is going to get returned. Now you might ask me, sir, is it required if I do for say addition operator? Should I do it for minus operator? No, not at all. So here we could simply say that if any operator that returns a boolean function, right? In a nutshell, I can say. So those operators are supposed to work in pass. So equals means not equals, I have to submit. If it's the less than equal to is being done, the greater than equal to has also to be done in pass. So the general syntax is going to be like public static, the return type, operator, and the symbol of the operator, and the operands which we are going to perform. This is the generic syntax of your operator overloading. The method. So operator overloading happens in a method, and how that particular method syntax is to be is defined here. So we define it as public static such that we could easily access it out. Return type, generally for the other operators, will be the same class name which you have defined, say for example height, matrix, say complex, whatever class you are defined, you are going to have the same thing. And here the operands will be that particular say that same type of the class which you have defined here. So this will be boolean for these kind of say comparison operators. For all other things, the return type should be like the major class which you are defining it for. Now we'll quickly go in for your operator overloading in for height operations. So let me open up my studio. Let me create a new particular C sharp console application. So let me make it as height. So right, so let me save it here, and I should let me initialize the program. uh, Let me also indicate that there is not going to be top level statements, and let me create it out. So as it is creating, let's quickly summarize what is the operator overloading. Operator overloading is nothing but if I want that particular operator to perform some other operations, we do this particular uh, operator overloading. So let me go over here. So let me create a class called height. My objective is, let me have a class height being defined here, right? And let it have two variables, say for example int say feet and inches. Okay, so let it have 2 inches like this. So my objective is I should be making something like this, say for example h1, likewise h2, right? And my objective is console dot write line. It should get I'm supposed to do this particular operation. It will throw me an error, however my objective is like this: h1 plus h2. I want to directly add two objects, which is not possible without overloading. I want to perform this operation. This is our objective of this video also. So how to do this, I'll quickly go ahead. So here let me create the constructor for this particular say your class. So it's automatically recommending I'm taking the same. So there are two variables, feet and inches, and whatever I'm passing in, I'm going to store it and I'm going to have it. So here I'm going to pass, say for example 5 feet and say 7 inches, and I'm going to add likewise I'm going to take the same value, say for example 8 inches. So I'm successfully passing the value, and let's check out. And it is still showing red in color. This indicates some error, so let's go through what error it is. It's saying that it's inaccessible due to the protection level. Naturally everything will be private, so let me make it as public, my constructor to be public. I think now it should not throw any error. So naturally what I'm supposed to do, I am created two objects successfully. Now what is the objective? I want to add these two heights independently. So how to do that, I'll show you. So height is equal to, right, I'm supposed to save something like this: h3 is equal to, right, I'm supposed to do h1 dot, what is your first one, it's called foot, plus h2 dot foot. Okay, I'm supposed to give like this h, let me first create this object. Create is equal to new height of, Okay, let me make it as 0 and 0. What I'm trying to do is I'm telling you what is supposed to happen in the barefoot. I mean how this addition is supposed to happen. So I'm initializing an empty height class, and I'm going to add that particular value. Hfoot is equal to hfoot of. Okay, so this is what is intended. It's not foot, it's feet. Let me rephrase it. Typo. Yes, this is supposed to be working. Still it's showing error. Let's check out what it is. Represents is inaccessible due to protection level. So we have seen this earlier. So what we are supposed to do, once again, make it as public for public accessing. Now we should be able to add these two things, and we'll do one thing. We'll also have added the first part, that is the feet alone. Now I have to add the necessary which part, uh, not foot, the inches, right, is equal to likewise h1 h1 dot inches. Yeah, so I'm accepting whatever it is. So I'm adding these two part, and I'm supposed to add these two part also. So this is the objective, but I don't want this to happen. I want this to happen automatically by just declaring this. This is my objective. I don't want to perform these operations. Rather, I want to have the objects added and all these operations being done. This is our objective of this particular video. How to do this, we'll see it out. So let's go to this particular class called height, wherein I am supposed to create a method for every operator which is going to get overloaded. So here I want to overload the addition operator. So let me first make it a static. Then what is the return type? So I add to height, and what should it return? It should also return a height object. So I initialize this height object, and let me give the operator to it, right? And in operator, what operator I'm going to overload? I'm going to overload plus operator, and it is going to have two variables. Say for example, height operands are going to be two operands, that is h1 and h2. It is going to receive two variables, and it is going to perform these things. So what should happen in this particular operations? It's showing me an error. Let's check out. So let's see this, how we are declared this operator overloading. So first is the access rights. Second thing is going to be, we are declaring it as static such that we can easily access it out without any declaration. Height is the return type. Operator is the keyword, and this is the symbol which I'm going to overload. So it is going to carry two operands out here, so which is of the same, I should say, the class names which is already declared. So what is supposed to be returned? It's showing an error. This error is meant to have the return type declared. So in due time we'll give this return also. So let's perform the same mathematical operations which we have done in the below. So instead of yeah, I'm creating the empty objects h3, and h3 is the place where I'm going to add these two objects and store. So h3, I'm going to perform the same operations out here. So here now, after adding the feet and inches, let me return this particular h3 also. So this is how I'm going to perform. So here I know no any longer I don't want this particular three lines to be done. I can directly create this particular mathematical operations just by calling this particular method, right? So let me run it, and it won't throw any errors. It's running and it will close, but there should not be there won't be any outputs. Just a hello world should be displayed. Yes, as expected. Now we'll print this particular data which we have. For that also I create the user defined say a method here. say public static say print. Okay, and let me say it as my print. Okay, and let it have get only one object which is to be printed. So like this I'm going to pretend, and here the return type is going to be the string. So I want the string to get printed. I don't want every time to write console dot readline for every scenario. So let me give it out here. So let me give the values also. H1 dot first is the feet. Let me give this symbol of say feet, and let me also give this particular inches also in double quotes. So I use this backslash to get this particular printing out. So when I am going to call this particular method, it's going to print this particular value. I don't want to print. Let me send it as a string. So string yes is equal to, or s is equal to, let me initialize like this. I've initialized it, and let me return this particular yes also. Now what I have done, I have added, and now I'm trying to print. Now let's go here, and here directly call h3 dot print. What is the name I have given? I have given it as my print. But the problem now is I have to give console dot write line every time. This is one of the thing which I wanted to avoid, but let's try it out. Let's check this out whether this is working. Yes, my print is there. Yes, so my print is going to return this particular string. Why have I removed this h1? I don't want anything to get passed. I want to directly call this particular method. This particular error is being shown. It's saying that this is not a valid item. So what is imply is we have given the method as static. So just remove the method as static, because this has to be referenced. Once this is done, you will be able to access the particular objects, that is h3's object over here. So here it represents h3 dot feet, h3 dot inches. So whichever object is being called, this is going to get printed. So now let's try this running. See, 10 feet plus 15 inches, it's getting displayed. But still I don't want this to happen. I want the console dot write line to getting printed here itself. So how will I do that? So I'll take this particular console dot write line, and directly let me print this inside here itself. I don't want to waste any variable declarations here. So I'm going to take the content, and I'm going to print it inside. So this is going to be like this. So this is for my printing. So this is for printing data. So how am I done it? So what happens every time here when I call h3 dot uh, print of, this is going to get printed, right? So let me run it. So it's showing some error. It's saying the data type returns a value. Here we are not returning anything, so remove the string, just put it as void. So let me run this code. able to get the value that is this thing. So now likewise, let me remove the hello world program, it's distracting. So uh, dynamically you can get the data, you can even print it out. Once this h1 is initialized, I can also give h1 dot print off. uh, yeah, so we'll also try to print what is h1. Yes, as well as we'll also try to print what is h2. So now just by calling this my print, you'll be able to print that particular data in that particular format. So this is how we are doing this particular one. So let's check out. You could clearly see that this is your first h1, this is h2, and the sum of these particular things. Now let's go in depth into this, right? Here it's further, we'll also put this console dot right line indicating that this is h1, right? And this is h2, and your sum of h1 and h2, right? So whichever symbols we are using, we'll follow the same. So here it is. So let me run the code. So here it's a better scenario. Here it's clearly given my h1 is value is this, h2 value is this, and sum of all these things is this particular values. Even if you want to avoid that particular line to be removed, you can just give it as console.write, and you can try running the same code. And here it is. So here you will be able to see how this particular thing works, right? Now if you could see, still I find h2 to be not clearly done. Let me go rephrase it for a better view. So here it is, h1. I'll also give some escape sequence such that it looks better. So let me run the code. Still have this issue. I have removed the line for everything. Now let me run this particular code and check. Yeah, this is our desired output. So h1 value is this, h2 value is this, and adding these two things we are able to find this. Now if you could find this particular output, there is yet something I should say little awkward here. Say for example 12 inches is 1 feet. So what should happen here is after adding these two feet, right, this naturally should be less than 12. So what we can do for this, we'll also see this, right? My output should be when adding these two things, it should be like 12 should be minus here, so it should be 11 feet and say 3 inches should be the answer. For that, what we'll do, we'll check it out. So let me close the window, let me go to this add program, and here what I should do, I should check the I should divide this particular value and check it out. So if, right, let me give this particular one, h3 dot inches is I should say modulus 12. Okay, modulus 12 is greater than 12. Okay, if what I'm trying to do is, if the remainder is greater than 12, what I'll do is I'll try to add this particular data to the particular feed. So in that places I'll divide this particular data, and let me take, we'll look into this logic again. What we supposed to do is, if the inches is greater than, I should say, 11, we have to do this particular one. So if h3 dot inches is greater than, say, 11, what I should do, I should take the modulo of that. Okay, let me take the modulo of it and re-add it with this particular feed. Let's check it out. So let me take the modulo of 12, and I have to add it with this particular feed. H3 feet is equal to h3 dot feet plus this particular remaining thing. So here it was 15, so 15 modulo 12 is going to give me 3. So 3 should be added to the feet. What do you think? What do you say? Is it correct? So earlier what we had was, in feet we had something called 10, right? So 10 is equal to 10 plus, is it modulo is 3. Is it correct? Do you think the logic is correct? No, it's wrong, right? So what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to take modulo of it and find, we are supposed to add just one amount or one to it, such that it is getting added up. Still, is it correct? So what should happen is nearly 5 dot, let me put it like this, right? 5 dot, yeah, over here. So 5, what was the value which we gave? 5 7 and 5 8, right? So 5 8 and 5 7. So this is our objective, this is what we have done, right? The answer should arise like, say, 8 plus 7 is 15, so 15 by 12 should be like, 3 should be coming in, so 1 should be carried out here, so it should be 11 feet and, say, 3 inches, right? So this should be the answer. So adding one doesn't make any sense, so what we can do is we can do like, find the, say, the divided value, or I should say the quotient of this particular one. How will I doing it? Please make a note. So I take the inches and let me divide it by, say, 12. Okay, and this gives me the number of times how much it is adding up. And what I should do also is h3 dot, say, inches is equal to, let me once again take the remainder of that particular one. I want the 3 to get stored here, right? So I'll take the modulo of it and let me save it here, right? So this will solve my issues if I'm right. So let me run the code, check out whether this is working. Let me run the code, and here it is. So I'm able to add, say, two different entities out here. If you could see, I have added these things. So naturally these two things should get added, and if it is greater than 12, whatever the content it should be, it should go over here. Sir, what about 20? Say for example I give values like this. Let's say 5 feet, say, I shall give it as 15 inches, and here also say 15 inches. So 15 plus 50 is 30. So 30 inches can't, it's not an ideal one. What should happen is we are supposed to take this 30 divided by 12, and whatever is remaining we should be getting it out here. So let's find out when we convert this particular one. And here you could see, now you have dynamically added like, from the inches to the, your feet is being added up. So this is how you are supposed to perform this operator overloading in this video. Further we will see how we could compare your various class objects. So for comparisons, our objective is like this. So I should be able to compare two objects of h1, say for example h1 say greater than h2. How am I going to do this? So here naturally it should be getting numbers out here. However, I'm taking this particular objects over here, class objects, and I'm supposed to perform these operations. And the difference between the previous one and this particular operator overloading is, the previous operator overloading, the return type was the corresponding class. Here the return type is going to be the boolean value. So now let's quickly make it out how this is going to work, right? So let me go to this particular operator overloading method which I'm going to create. So let me create a operator overloading. For which operator is, I'm going to make it for say less than symbol. So how am I going to do it? So first I will give the declaration followed by the uh, static keyword. Then I'm going to tell what data type it is, so it's going to be bool. And I'm saying that I'm going to perform operator loading, so I have to use the method name called as operator, and I have to give the symbol for which I'm going to do ahead. And also I'm going to tell what are the operands for this, say for example h1 comma h2. Please be mindful that the h1 and h2 declared here are local to this particular method. Okay, and what shall I do? I'll just compare, say, so let me initialize the bool value, bool would say b, or I need not want to initialize it. Let me make up directly over here. So let me do it like this: h1 dot feet. Is it both feeds are equivalent? We'll check it out. I have given, I'm checking for less than symbol, so I should be doing the same. I'm doing the wrong thing. And now let me also check the other component, that is the inches thing. So how am I going to do it? h1 dot inches greater than h2 dot inches. First part, first object, and here it's second object. So first one's feet I'm going to compare, and the second one's feet. Likewise, first one inches and second one inches. If both are true, what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to return true, else I'm going to return false. So it's showing me an error. Let's check out what the error is. See, it is asking or demanding me to make the corresponding pair for this particular operator. The corresponding pair for this operator is less than symbol. So let me make it. So here instead of greater than symbol, I'm going to use less than symbol. Now I think it should not be throwing me an error. Still it's showing an error. Let's check out what that error is. It's saying that the return value is specified only for this particular block. What we can do is we can remove this particular say conditions. And now I think it should not throw me an error. If still it's persisting for an return statement, what we can do is we can make a generic statement. Say for example return true. Anyhow, if the condition is not satisfied, we have to return true, or here in this case it's going to be false. Likewise here also, let me make it as false. Right, so let me save. Now how will I check this particular one? So here I'm going to check this particular condition using this statement. Now I have successfully made this particular statement, and I'll print this particular one, console dot write line, say h1 is greater than h2, else we'll print console dot write line h2 is less than particular. Yeah. So condition is set. Let me save the program. Let me run this code. Now let's check out what the output is. Does it show the output? Yes, the output is being showed, but it's not explicit. It's showing h1 is greater than h2. Let me make it very explicit. So let me give. So let me make it as output right here. So h1 is greater than h2. I'm sorry, I've used the return symbol. Yes. Next line. See, it's showing the output. Now, in summary, what we have seen in this particular program is we have successfully made operator overloading for addition operator, and this is the generic syntax. And also we have performed a comparison operator overloading also. So I have gone into step by step how to perform these operations. And let's summary, I should say, all your mathematical operations other than your comparison operators could be performed the same. And please ensure that when whichever examples or whichever program is being given to you, check each operand whether is it independent or dependent. Here in this height scenario, this is independent. What about say complex numbers, real and imaginary part, is it independent or is it dependent? Complex numbers, the operands are independent. How about say your matrix, is it independent or dependent? So matrix, based on your addition and subtraction, it will be acting like independent, whereas if you're going to go ahead with your multiplication and your divisions, your operands will act, or it will going to be a dependent uh, say operand. So here our objective is, if the feet, I mean if the inches is more than 12, you are supposed to increment that particular feet. I have told you how we have done this, right? Likewise, I have also shown you how we are going to overload this particular say comparison operator, and the comparison operators has to be overloaded with this corresponding pairs. So if I'm going to do it for say equals equals, I have to do it for not equals also. It's a mandate, right? Else it's going to throw away an error. Likewise, carry out the other operators, perform operator overloading for the other operators, and you may contact me for further doubts. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.